There was a time when I thought belonging was something you were either born with or not, like it was a seat you hoped was safe for you, and if it wasn't, well, better luck next time. I thought belonging meant walking into a room and instantly knowing where to sit, who to talk to, and how to act. And if you didn't know those things, it meant you really didn't belong there. I used to walk into rooms quietly, not because I had nothing to say, but because I wasn't sure anyone wanted to hear it. I watched before I spoke, I laughed when others laughed, and I nodded when it felt safer than speaking. And I told myself that fitting in was the same thing as belonging, but it isn't. Fitting in asks you to change who you are, belonging asks you to show who you are. The moment I realized I belonged didn't happen during a big celebration or a perfect day. It didn't come with applause or attention. It happened during a moment that was uncomfortable, awkward actually, a moment when I almost stayed silent and didn't. I remember sitting there, listening, feeling that familiar pressure, the one that says, don't mess this up, don't stand out, don't be different. That voice has stopped me so many times before, but that day, something else was louder. A thought that said, if I don't speak now, I'll disappear. So I spoke. My voice wasn't confident, my words weren't perfect. Halfway through, I worried I was saying the wrong thing, but I kept going. And when I finished, something unexpected happened. People listened. Not because what I said was impressive, but because it was honest. No one laughed, no one ignored me, no one made me feel small. And in that moment, I realized something important. Belonging doesn't come from being the loudest, the funniest, or the smartest, or the most confident person in the room. It comes from being seen and still accepted. Community isn't about sameness, it's about space. A space where you're allowed to show up as you are, even when you're unsure, even when you're still learning, even when you don't have everything figured out. Before that moment, I thought community meant having everything in common. The same interests, the same opinions, the same kind of confidence. But real community doesn't ask you to shrink to fit inside it. It doesn't tell you to be quieter or less yourself. Real community grows when you bring your full self into it. I've learned that community sounds like someone saying, I get you. It looks like encouragement instead of judgment. It feels like support without conditions. It reminds you that you don't have to earn your place by being perfect. As an 8th grader, that lesson matters more than ever. We're constantly being measured. Grades, social media, friend groups, who's ahead, who's behind. It's easy to believe that belonging is something fragile, that can disappear if you say the wrong thing or don't meet expectations. But true community doesn't disappear when you struggle. It shows up because you're struggling. The moment I realized I belonged, I stopped trying to be invisible. I stopped thinking silence would protect me, and I started believing my voice, exactly as it is, matters. That belief changed how I walk into rooms now. I still get nervous, I still doubt myself sometimes, but I no longer confuse silence with safety, because belonging isn't about being perfect, it's about being present. So my definition of community is this. Community is a place where you don't have to pretend, where your voice has value, where you're allowed to grow out loud. And once you realize you belong, you don't just help find your place in the world, you help create it. That realization changes how you see people around you. You start noticing the small things, the pause before someone speaks, the way someone looks down when they think they don't matter, the moments when a room feels quiet, not because no one has thoughts, but because no one feels brave enough to share them. Belonging teaches you to pay attention. It teaches you that community isn't built in speeches or announcements. It's built in everyday choices, who you sit next to, who you include, who you make room for. I've learned that community doesn't always feel comfortable. Sometimes it asks you to listen to opinions that are different from yours. Sometimes it asks you to Sometimes it means speaking up when it would be easier to stay quiet. And sometimes it means letting others lead instead of you trying to prove yourself. Community also takes patience. People grow at different speeds, they find their voices in different ways, and they gain confidence at different times. Real community allows that. It doesn't rush you, it doesn't compare you, it doesn't decide your worth based on one moment. Instead, it gives you the chance to try again. That's why belonging isn't something that happens once and stays forever. It's something you practice every day. You practice it by being kind when it's unnoticed, by listening when it's inconvenient, by choosing understanding over judgment. And when you do that, something changes. Belonging stops feeling like a prize you're trying to win. It starts feeling like a responsibility you're proud to carry. Because once you know what it feels like to belong, you don't want anyone else to feel invisible. You understand that community isn't just about where you fit in, it's about what you help build. And that's why the moment I realized I belong didn't end with me. It became the moment I understood how much my choices mattered. That is what community means to me.